Big news for next season ahead of this week's Dream F1 episode. Cadillac announced that they would partner with the Andretti Racing team to take over the Haas entry next year to enter an all-American works team. This is confirmation of the rumor that spread around the paddock a few months ago, with Dream F1 organizers calling this a fantastic move, as what could be more valuable to establish the sport in North America than an established American racing team partnering a leading American car manufacturer. Andretti Cadillac already announced that they will field an American driver as well, without announcing who that will be for now. For our further news, we look back to the present, as today's race might be the final opportunity for our championship challengers to stop Carlos Sainz from running away with it. Sainz has steadily been extending his gap in the championship by pure consistency, and is now in a situation where he can decide the championship in Japan already if he finishes ahead of his main rivals Max Verstappen and George Russell here. These two will have to finish ahead of Sainz and gain a significant amount of points on him to remain within a realistic shot at the title. Last but not least, a bit of news on the drivers market, though not the most surprising one. McLaren is very happy with their results and drivers this season, therefore it comes as no surprise that they retain both Lando Norris and Alex Palou for next year. This, however, is interesting news regarding the second Red Bull seat, as these two, thanks to their good performances this year, might have been options for Red Bull to replace Sergio Perez. With these two gone, RB's options are more and more limited. The first of our two junior racers saw a surprise pole sitter in Sebastian Montoya, who led the field to turn 1 in Velocita. He defended that lead in the opening lap, but arriving in turn 1 for the second time, championship leader Enzo Fittipaldi forced his way past the Colombian. Terrible news later for Fittipaldi's main championship rival Zane Maloney. He was briefly passed by Juan Manuel Correa for third, and in a desperate move to hang on to the podium, he spun Correa around, resulting in both of them losing a big chunk of positions, ultimately seeing Maloney drop out of the points. From there, it was just a matter of bringing it home for Fittipaldi, who, with his win in Velocita, managed to clinch the Formula Inter-Americas Championship with one race to go. The Formula 3 Euro Series once again supported at this week's Portuguese Grand Prix at Estoril. A good start from Vesti saw him keep the race lead into turn 1. Starting lap 2, a big lunge from Theo Pourchaire saw him take the race lead away from Vesti. But the Dane was fighting back, as a win here could massively improve his situation going into the season finale at Jerez. More bad news for Pourchaire, as teammate and championship leader Martin slipped through just a few corners later. Vesti managed to pull away, as the two ART drivers didn't hold back against each other, with Pourchaire retaking second, leaving Martin in the clutches of Dennis Hauger. Frederic Westi led home a hard-fought podium, with the top 4 in the championship also finishing in the top 4 at the Estoril. The situation couldn't be more exciting ahead of the final round in Jerez. Martin and Vesti equal on 44 points, leading the championship, with Hauger and Pourchaire close behind, both on 40 points. Back to Dream F1, where we'll see the final race of the European Tour of the season that sees the return of the Portuguese Grand Prix at Estoril. Estoril has changed a bit since F1 last raced here in 1996, but most of the track is still pretty technical and narrow, but the tricky parabolica leading towards the long main straight into redesigned turn 1 hopefully should see a lot of overtaking action in the 36 laps that lie ahead. And it was a surprising result in qualifying yesterday, as Lando Norris took pole position ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. Max Verstappen is in third, and he has a great opportunity to rather close the gap at the front of the championship if he manages to get past the two ahead of him, as Carlos Sainz is only starting from 8th. Our teammate Mick Schumacher is starting from 11th, and on the second page you can once again see us. We're starting from P13. And with that, it is time to start the Portuguese Grand Prix. Okay, here we are. Not too sure what to expect from this race, because this is a really unusual venue in modern racing. Not really used all that much, that track, despite being an FIA Grade 1 track. Okay, They're very slow through the opening corners here. Oh, Mick has been swallowed there. Oh, they're taking it super slow through here. Let's see if we can make a few more spots. Braking past Tsunoda. Yes, that worked. Overtaking later in this race is probably not that easy. And then, well, there is this here. The most awkward turn probably on any racetrack. And then the parabolica, really hard to get right because you think you can go on the throttle quite early, but it's easy to be too early because it's not flat out and the car will make the turn anyways. You really have to take a measured approach through there, as we are now close to the two Ferraris. This is of course not in the script for Carlos Sainz, who could really set himself up for 3 match races, if you want to call it like that. But also in the Constructors' Championship, maybe there's an opportunity for someone to come back, but I don't think anyone will have a chance. There is someone pretty slow up front. I can't help but wonder whether Charles Leclerc has any problem or not, because he's dropping down even from that group ahead. Just as we thought he would make his comeback after winning in Monza, his season is going back to very underwhelming, which has been the case pretty much throughout. Of course, apart from his 2 wins that he had this year in Spain. Ooh, going a bit deep there. In Spain and Italy. Okay, good news. We are quite close to Kobayashi, who has now been passed by both Ferraris and that Porsche. I think Vettel was it. That were pretty close behind him and losing loads of time. And we've been catching up as well, so maybe there is an opportunity to move up yet another spot. Surprisingly, the AI didn't really have a hard time passing that Honda, but I'm not too sure about me, to be honest, because yeah, I don't really see where I should do it right now. Because I'm losing so much time on that bit here, that here, where the AI did it, we are way too far back. Look at that. Now we're gaining, but there is the breaking point. When we could maybe go a bit later. But we have to ensure it's safe. I mean, might be an opportunity if we manage to get alongside him, we would have an advantage. Into this corner here. I messed up the exit there. And this straight is way too short. Look at that. Maybe. No. There's no way. And then there is this again. This time it was better though. Oh! And Kobayashi, I think he went a bit too wide. So this should now be an easy job. Yes, we're past. Oh, he's having a little look down our insides, but no chance. Tires, well, this track is a lot more heavy on the tires than the other tracks that we've been racing on. Still pretty far away from half-time, if there were any half-time. If there was any half-time. But talking all that nonsense made Kobayashi overtake us. How did I let that happen? That was really stupid. This time we are not that close. There might still be an opportunity. Yes, there is. Come on. And let's focus and stay ahead this time. Whoa. There goes Kobayashi. I'm starting to really struggle on those tires. Side by side through Parabolica, he backs out of that one. Probably had a slide or something that he needed to correct. Because that was a sudden braking maneuver. And yeah. I don't think I'll stay out much longer on those tires because they're really a limitation, especially that front left. That is suffering through here. Here not so much, but especially the Parabolica. The final corner that is so crucial to get a good run. So yeah, I'll really see that we reach halfway point with those tires and then I'll pit and see what we can do from there. Oh wow, that was a terrible pit entry. Only here is the... Oh god! Yeah, that's what happens if in qualifying you just say, oh yeah, come on, return to pit lane. Once you abort your lap, so yeah. You have no clue about the pit lane as a result. I did not learn my lesson. Happens every damn time. Oh, attention, awkward exit. Kevin Magnussen is ahead of us. Not ideal. We will encounter traffic quite soon. So maybe this is where this race gets a little bit more interesting, because I've been running in no man's land so far. Nobody to really defend from, but also nobody to really attack. Let's change this up a bit. And there we are, close to Magnussen already, just after one lap. If we're lucky, we encounter him at quite a good point on track. Now this is crucial, because afterwards, it will be hard to make a move on this lap. Come on, this is looking very good indeed. late on the brakes. And we pass Magnussen. Crucial to do it here. Because here we would have lost so much time against the Haas. Oh, and here we are close to Drugovic, but I don't think we'll be close enough. Maybe. It's quite tight. Piastri's in the pits. Was he ahead of us or behind us ahead of the pit stops? I don't quite remember. Ah, too conservative there against Drugovic. But this is not over yet. Contact with Drugovic. He leaves the track. Still off the track. Ooh. Oh, he will complain about us, I'm pretty sure. Okay, now this is interesting. Kobayashi is in the pits. Now, where is he? Undercut or overcut? What did the better job? I think quite equal, because Kobayashi just left the pit lane. He's still behind us, but we really didn't gain all that much. Because we of course also had to negotiate traffic. So we're back into the top 10. Mick is still ahead of us, but he still yet to pit. So I think, unless anything unforeseeable happens, this might be it. We're racing in no man's land. Perez now is in the pits. Mick has been in the pits in the meantime. And where is Checo? I think he was ahead of us before he pitted, but have we undercut him? We're up to 8th. Interesting. We gained a spot from someone while being in the pits. Whoa! He came from really far back. Bit of a wake-up call. Oh, now I run a bit wide. Shouldn't be an issue. He backs out of it because, well, we'd be on the inside for the next corner. And now, for the final 4.5 laps, we might even have to focus once again. Because I didn't see any car. So I didn't really expect Kobayashi to have that massive lunge. Yeah, now the pressure is on for those final few laps. That was a good exit out of Parabolica, so we should be fine. Oh, there's the lap car. Who's that? Probably Logan Sargent. Of course it's Logan Sargent. Sargent having a worse season than Latifi did. Wow. Not the ideal place to let someone by, but okay. Latifi at least scored a point last year for Williams. Yes, it was at a very chaotic race in Monaco, but still, he took the chance when it was there. Oh, what's that? What is that? A safety car? I moved up to 7th. I should stay behind Lando. Not. What happened to Norris? He was starting from pole. Is he now lapped down? Oh, Okay, there's lots of stuff to unfold in the race highlights. This is a very late safety car, but it's too late of a safety car because we're entering the final lap. What happened? Okay, that is really... I mean, that was not the most spectacular race from my perspective. And this now is very peculiar indeed. I mean, we gained a spot, but I will show you a replay to kind of find out what happened now. But even with clarified what caused that safety car, there is still the question of what happened to Lando Norris, who was leading this race. And, ladies and gentlemen, as we're on the final lap, me finishing P7 is good, but look on the timing tower, look at the timing tower. Who is in P2? He has done it! Nico Hülkenberg will finish on the podium. And that safety car had to be caused by Lewis Hamilton, I think. He was up there. P3 or something. Lewis Hamilton. Oh, I found out now. You have of course seen it in the replay that I showed you. But I just realized Lewis Hamilton is the one that is out of this race. That will be finished on the safety car. Very, very anticlimactic. But there we go, round the Parabolica for the final time. Oh yes, that is a spectacular finish. But this race, at least from my perspective, didn't do that track justice, because I really enjoyed it, even in these cars. So, we will come back here in Dream F1. I'm pretty sure we will, as we just finished this race. And, yeah. I guess you have probably sat through the boring part of this video, which was what happened at my race, but I think the race highlights might be pretty interesting, because at the front there was a lot of stuff going on. Well, and let's look at that from the race start. It was Lando Norris who had a brilliant start and brilliant getaway from pole position. He retained the lead into turn 1, and Nico Hülkenberg stayed behind in second. Max Verstappen still following them in third. So no big shuffle up here at the start of the race, and it was a pretty calm race at the front. Lando Norris and Nico Hülkenberg even pulling away from Max Verstappen, who decided to come in for his pit stop in lap 17. There you can see the gaps to Lando Norris and Nico Hülkenberg on the straightaway ahead. So Verstappen in lap 17, and then it was Lando Norris following him in lap 18 to probably cover an undercut. So this is Lando Norris coming into the pit lane, and this is where his race, well, completely fell together. This is him entering the pit box, and then he was standing there for an entire minute. I don't know what went wrong, if there was damage discovered at the pit stop, or if this was like a Ferrari pit stop where the tires were missing. We don't know. All we know is Lando Norris had a 1 minute pit stop, and that cost him the race win here. So that enabled Nico Hülkenberg to have a fight for the win here. He came in at the end of lap 21, entering lap 22, but it is pretty close with Max Verstappen. You can see Verstappen there in the foreground. He was just passing turn 1, and Verstappen comes out just ahead of Nico Hülkenberg, or rather Hülkenberg comes out behind Max Verstappen, so he's now in P2 once again. Well, and he stayed there until the second to last lap, Hamilton there going for a move against Hülkenberg into turn 1, and Hamilton taking second away from Hülkenberg. But remember what happened to Hamilton in that lap 34, but this makes this all the more dramatic. Hamilton just entering second, and then only a few corners later is where his engine gave in. Exactly here it is happening. There is the smoke coming out, and Nico Hülkenberg re-enters second, and this is where he finished ahead of George Russell. So the race ended on the safety car. Here we can see them coming over the finish line. Max Verstappen wins in Portugal ahead of Nico Hülkenberg, who finally achieved the first podium finish of his career. Well, and this race was pretty good for the championship. Max Verstappen wins ahead of Nico Hülkenberg, George Russell in third. Carlos Sainz, the championship leader, only finishing 5th. So Max Verstappen gained 15 points alone here today. We'll see how that looks in the championship in a second. We finish in P7. Sebastian Vettel set the fastest lap and gains the extra point in P6. Our teammate Mick Schumacher once again went backwards this race, so he finishes in 14th. And well, yeah, Lewis Hamilton still classified in 24th as he had that engine blowout with 2 laps to go, so he's still classified, although he technically did not finish. And this here is the big news. Carlos Sainz's lead at the championship is a bit slimmer, but still he has the opportunity to clinch the championship in Japan already, although this is now a bit more unlikely than it would have been had he finished ahead of Verstappen and Russell. Further behind, we see now both Porsches ahead of the McLarens, but their battle still continues as it's all to play for from P6 to P9. We move up to 12 in the Drivers' Championship. Joe, Stroll, Magnussen, Gasly, Bottas and Sargent still yet to score a point in the final 3 races. And in the Constructors' Championship, it is still Ferrari with a substantial lead over Mercedes. Red Bull Racing in third. Porsche now gained a bit on their main rivals McLaren in the fight for P4. Honda and Alpine, well, also Honda running a bit away from the French outfit. We're a bit in no man's land there in 8th. That should be secured unless Aston Martin or we do something crazy. Alfa Romeo and Haas still without a point so far. And that has been it for the Portuguese Grand Prix. The next race will be the Japanese Grand Prix, and Carlos Sainz has the opportunity to decide the championship there already. So don't miss that. Leave a like if you did enjoy this video and subscribe to not miss anything on this channel. I hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye.